So Sharon, you are an expert on digiscoping. Give us some advice.
Yes, always, always, always take your scope and always try for the picture. Last fall, I went on a trip to Uganda, and there was a woman named Megan Crew who came along, and she's a field trip leader. It's like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. I have so many digiscoping questions. And I was like, I'm happy to help. And one of our first days, we had this kind of boat ride. It was a canoe with a motor on it to go out and see a shoebill. And I'm taking my scope, and people are saying, oh, Sharon, don't take your scope. And I was like, no, I might actually get a picture. That's the worst that's going to happen is I'm going to have some crappy photos, and a crappy photo of a shoebill is better than no photo of a shoebill in my brain. I always learn something.
I agree. Yeah, documentation photo, if nothing else. Yeah.
Yeah. And also the more you take your equipment out and the more you take pictures, even if you're just taking pictures of red-winged blackbirds or house sparrows, you are practicing and getting to know your equipment. And by doing that, your equipment will just become part of your body. And that's when you're going to be able to get the great photos when that mountain bluebird tees up perfectly on a tombstone in a beautiful cemetery. Or, yeah, it's just always try. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to have some photos you need to delete.
Yeah, that's the way it is with digital photography these days. You take 1,000 pictures and one of them will be good. But do you always use a device to? It looks like you probably use your phone now. I mean, most of us use our phone. The cameras are good enough.
Yeah, I will sometimes take out my SLR. I have a couple of them. I have a Canon Rebel and I have a Nikon V1. And if I were going someplace like Florida, like Vieira Wetlands or one of the gator farms, and I knew I was going to have a lot of time with the birds and the birds were going to be sitting still, then I would take those SLRs. But more often than not, I take my phone. And the reason why is the quality is very, very good. And I've had pictures published in books and magazines. I even had a cover photo with one of my iPhone photos.
Wow.
So I feel like the quality is good if the light is good with you. But I also love the ability to share immediately. And so I can just share the photos from my phone immediately to social media accounts or do a Facebook Live thing. So, and your phone is so much lighter.
It is handy, and you've got it anyway. You're doing your e-birding on your phone. You might want to take a call. It's in your pocket, so it's not an extra thing to carry. Do you use a device, a phone holder adapter sort of thing usually, or not?
Most of the time I do. I use the phone scope case. I love it because you type in the make and model of your phone on the website, the make and model of your scope, and they make you a case that is custom to that, and their customer service is fantastic.
So is that a case you can leave on all the time and then add the little part that hooks on your scope? Or, I mean, my struggle has been, I mean, I carry my phone in my pocket all the time, and most of the adapters don't work with some sort of protective cover, and I've battled. So I just usually hold it up and take a picture, and I'm getting incredibly good at it for just freehand. But
hand holding is great. I do that for people all the time. The only challenge is if you want to take video, then you're going to see the shakiness.
Yeah, video is an issue. Yeah.
But no. So when I got my iPhone 10. The phone scope case that I got, I can take off the bayonet that attaches it to the scope, and then just use it as a regular case.
Oh, that's cool. And the brand that you use again, Sharon, is
Phone Scope.
Phone Scope.
Yeah, and scope is spelled with a K.
SKOPE. Okay, I'll find that and put a link in the podcast notes for people. That's cool. Okay, good. So your advice: bring your scope. Practice a lot, basically.
Always practice. Take pictures of everything. And I do take pictures of everything. I take pictures of the moon. I'll do time lapses of sunrises. I'll do insects. I'm constantly practicing because I'm always curious what kind of boundaries I can push with my phone. Yeah. And more often than not, I'm surprised at what I get. And, if your photo is terrible, if you just put a fun filter on it, it's still a good photo on Instagram. Nobody necessarily is looking for the perfect photo anymore.
So obviously you use Instagram a lot. Are you the Birdchick on Instagram too?
Yeah, pretty much on social media, if it says Birdchick, that's going to be me.
Okay, got it. Okay. I am still getting up to speed on social media, so it's good to hear that other birders are way ahead of me. That's good. That's good. You did a Digiscope Big Ear, I think, didn't you? Don't I remember hearing about that
yes,
or reading about that?
I have done that. Yeah, that's actually, if you want to book me for your bird festival, one of the stories I tell is about that Digiscoping big year. And I needed a bird photo, and my husband and I had to go into a nudist colony to get the bird photo.
Oh, my goodness. I bet that was an awkward moment.
You know, when you go into a nudist colony with a camera and a spotting scope and binoculars, people will have a lot of questions for you.
Yeah, but you had the right answers, so you're okay.
Yeah. No, it was a good time, but the hilarious thing was when we realized what was going to have to happen. I told my husband, I was like, "I'm going in." He said, "That's great. I'm not."
You know,
and I said,
the good thing is you got fodder for presentations at your speaking engagements. You gotta look for those opportunities.
You do. They just happen.
That's funny. That's funny.